Spent countless hours in the garage with your dad. Now investing in that old car and working on it with your son reminds you of him, and his legacy lives on. Fund your passion with a low-interest home equity line of credit from Bank of Blue Valley.
Hi, Scott.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I love your earrings and the tree. You're so festive.
I'm very festive. You know what we did last night? I have to tell you about this because it's the second year we've done it, so now I'm calling it a tradition, and it's my most favorite tradition as my children get older. There's a wonderful company, and literally they're not like a client of mine or anything. They're just so wonderful. I've never even met who owns it. So if you own it and you happen to watch the show, or if you know the owner, give them a shout out. But their name is Showtime Transportation. And we get a limo from them every year, and they put together a whole agenda for us of all the best places to see lights in the city. And we spend 3 hours just driving around to see Christmas lights. We get pizza in the limo like we're on Home Alone. And then we go everywhere from like really far out south all the way down to Crown Center. We get out a few times, we took some pictures at Union Station and Crown Center. And my family and I did that last night. And it was the most fun thing ever.
So his name is Jason Ronan. And like 8-9 years ago, I ran across him. He got out of finance to start a transportation company. And he bought it, and he has 5 kids. So at the time I was like, whoa, what are you doing? But you know what?
Of course you know him.
He must have had a Bank of Blue Valley loan because it's gone really, really well. Brian Schweitzer actually owns part of a limo as well. He does? I just found out at a Chiefs game that it's part of a limo. I was like, well, why are we not taking that? And at the time I was recovering and I was the designated driver. So I was like, I guess I can drive.
It's so much fun for my kids. They think it's like, I don't know if you can hear all the hip hop music, but there's a FedEx driver out here and they are jamming out. That's what I would be doing. But anyways, it's one of our most favorite fun memories every single year. And they just think it's a blast. And the pizza really, I don't know if it'd be as much fun without the Little Caesars pizza we had. But what have you been up to? What's a fun tradition that you guys do every year?
So the fondest memories is my mother is from Grand Rapids, Michigan. So when we were kids, we'd go up there every other year for Christmas. And man, oh man, it can get really cold in Kansas City. And I don't know where people are watching today, if anyone's up north, but Grand Rapids get cold. But I don't, we're creating our own with a 2 and a 4-year-old. We don't really have those traditions.
No limo just yet. That sounds like a lot of work with a 2 and a 4-year-old. Hey, speaking of who's watching, can you please tell us if you are watching, if you're watching on us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or we just got our YouTube numbers for the year? It seems that we have, I don't want to brag, but 33 subscribers on YouTube. So we're practically YouTube influencers, Scott.
It's a big day. It's something we've been planning for our whole lives.
Forever. So we'll give you guys autographs next time we see you. Hey, how much fun did we have? Speaking of Christmas, we got to go to a pretty fun Christmas party last week.
Yeah, it's hard. Sometimes you struggle to find a building and then you realize the building's named after the CEO. And then you're like, oh, that's where we're going.
So we got to go. We were very lucky and very honored to be invited to Bank of Blue Valley's Christmas party. Now, I will tell you, we didn't get to see each other. You and I were in passing as when we showed up. But as you would imagine, I haven't been to many bank Christmas parties in my life because I've never been in banking. I didn't know they were so fancy. So I showed up in my Christmas sweater with my big wreath earrings and my bright red lipstick. And it was a very fancy party. But it was fancy, like good drinks, good food. Everybody looked nice. It was a blast. But everyone was so kind to me. I thought I was going to get kicked out. But everyone at Bank of Blue Valley is always so kind to us. So I don't know. I wouldn't expect exactly that, but it was an amazing party.
Yeah, I was picking up kiddos from daycare. I got lucky, and it's kind of like seeing the bride or groom before their wedding. And I saw that the CEO, Bob Bernier, who's a legend, was there by himself at the front. So I got him a glass of water, shook his hand. For all he knows, I was there the whole time. But you and Beth, I had to text and say I couldn't hang out. But Beth had a great time that works with us on the show, and she super busy, tons of meetings, got to see everyone. So what a productive week.
Absolutely. So of course, we're only here because Bank of Blue Valley allows us to be here. So I'm excited for our panel today. I do want to say Nick is doing an awesome thing on his LinkedIn. He is giving shout outs to local entrepreneurs every single week. So I've been following along. So hi, Nick. How are you? Let us know if you are watching. I can see there's a bunch of people watching. So say hello over here in the comments.
Yeah, comment. We'll read it.
What?
It's a comment. We'll read it. You know, an anchor man where anything they put on the teleprompter, they read.
Yeah, it's just like that.
Yeah.
Same thing. So it's about as professional. So, okay, let's get to our panel. Nobody cares about us. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Today, our first guest is Jaci.
Hi. What's happening?
Hi, Jaci. I'm so excited you're here. Our next guest is, Caroline. That was like a teaser. Here she comes.
Hello.
Our third guest of the day is Miss Tara. Hi, Tara.
Hi.
And last but certainly not least, we need to bring another guy to keep you company, Scott. You're getting outnumbered right here. We've got Richard. Hi, Richard. How are ya?
I'm doing great.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. We're just going to jump right into it. That's what we do around here. Jaci, who are you? What do you do? And how do you get to Kansas City?
Hi, everybody. I am Jaci Twidwell. I am the Director of Marketing for Retail Success, which is a technology company in Overland Park. We've been around since about 2005. Where do I come from? I'm originally from South Dakota. So if you hear some long O's, that's where that dialect comes from. I am a Creighton University grad, worked for 10 years in Omaha in different marketing roles and newspapers. And then I moved to Kansas City about 10 years ago with my family. And I'm a former Hallmarker, worked there for a long time before joining Retail Success.
Well, you're nowhere near your 4 to 5 minutes, so get ready for more questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
How long did you work at Hallmark? How long have you worked at Retail Success? And kind of talk about kind of the growth of your company, maybe because they work with really good partners.
Of course.
You just have had some massive growth. So Hallmark to Retail Success, and then the reason behind the growth.
Yeah, absolutely. I was at Hallmark for about 8 years in the social media PR area, worked my way up. I left about the end of 2018. I'm a mom of 4 little ones, so the timing worked out great with COVID hitting shortly thereafter. So it took some time to be with the family. And then I have actually been with Retail Success a little less than a year, started in April. And the team at Retail Success is fantastic. We have about 142 employees. Tons of them were hired during the pandemic. We are always hiring. We are very much growing constantly. Majority of them are based in Overland Park at our headquarters. And then one of our subsidiaries is VanDeusen, which is actually out of Tampa, Florida. So we're a company that we connect the world through really powerful, software solutions. So we focus on point of sale and inventory management for businesses, small, medium, and large. We're all about payment processing. The secure, the better. And then software for direct selling companies. We really love to work in that space, and it is one that is very unique and one that we specialize in. And we're actually launching an app soon to make that even easier for our clients in the direct selling space.
So I'm obsessed with Jaci because she literally ran social media for Hallmark, which was like, they're like the best at social media, right?
Awesome.
She really was there when they started dominating that space. So I have a social media geeky marketing question for you, Jaci, that I think I know the answer to, but I want everybody to know the answer. What is your favorite social media platform that you spend time on? And where do you see it kind of going for Retail Success? What are you guys doing in social media?
Yes, absolutely. So the difference between coming from Hallmark, which is a giant multi-billion-dollar conglomerate to a smaller company that is growing like crazy is really social media on two different planes. And at Hallmark, there was a ton of engagement, organic engagement. We had outstanding engagement rates that people did not see. And so organic, free. And now Facebook, Instagram, even LinkedIn are getting to become pay-to-play spaces. So at Retail Success, we're really looking for spaces where we can earn our way in and start a conversation. So Aaron helped us. We've jumped in TikTok with both feet. And I have to say, I am addicted. I am a dang near 40-year-old woman who's addicted to TikTok, and my kids are mortified, but it's great. And follow us at Retail Success Co. on TikTok. We have our CEO, Kent Galley, is doing TikTok videos. He's even, I think, kind of enjoying it. So you can meet our whole leadership team and learn about what we're doing on TikTok. So it's going to be our priority next year.
It has been impressive to watch Jaci get her whole team into their social media, really, because, I think we kind of agree that people want to work places that they enjoy, right? And so it's really playing big into their culture. But Jaci's gotten, the most, I don't want to call like serious people, but the most serious people at Retail Success. I'll see them on TikTok and I'm like,
engineers and developers, they're not necessarily the most outgoing in front of the camera people. So we are really, I'm doing lots of beg, borrowing, stealing, selling off my firstborn and things to get them engaged. But once people have started to see the growth, they're all in, and it's been really, really fun and rewarding. And we're showing company culture. Is this going to get us leads? Well, we're hiring. This is about showing off what we're doing, showing behind the scenes, and we want to help grow the company and get even our employees excited about it.
So to give Aaron a little bit more credit, Aaron's really good friends with the folks at the Business Journal. Yes. And when COVID was going down, I went to Ken. I knew the Business Journal would already write about it because Retail Success was one of the few people right when COVID hit that was hiring, like, call it more than 10 or 15 people.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, Ken, this is newsworthy. I'll bet you a beer, that this will get in the Business Journal. And again, it's because Aaron's friends with them. But either way, I reached out, but Aaron should get the credit for that organic reach with Ken when he was.
And he was new in the CEO position, and that's something our company does, especially with smaller size businesses. And we are able to help them run their online store through one of our solutions. So that really helped us grow in COVID during the COVID pandemic, and we really love seeing our clients just take off and grow in the space. Be successful.
You guys have been doing amazing things. It's really super fun. And so we'll make sure you follow him on TikTok because Jaci's a really good dancer on TikTok. Yes. I promise. All right. You are good. Caroline, who are you? What do you do? And how do you get to Kansas City?
Oh my gosh. Hello. Thank you so much. My name is Caroline VanDeusen. I am principal at KCRise Fund. We are a early stage, so seed and Series A venture capital investment firm. We are hyper-focused on Kansas City tech startups. We have two funds. We've invested in 35 regional tech startups, and we set ourselves apart by this regional connectivity as far as talent and our corporate investors and putting technology and founders and entrepreneurs in touch with the capital that they need to get their business started. So I came to Kansas City. I am a Nebraska girl. I'm from Nebraska. So as a finance person, grew up studying Warren Buffett. My husband's from Chicago. We moved here to Kansas City totally by design. So we loved it here. I grew up coming to Kansas City for all the fun things around the holidays and concerts and ice skating. And we moved here by design about 10 years ago.
So, back up, it's incredibly, incredibly hard to get your position. People try all the time, and people try really hard to meet with you because you are the venture firm for Kansas City. So what's the career path after undergrad that built the resume to take on the leadership position to where you are today? Have a little bit of an interesting career trajectory, which isn't as common as I thought in investing. So I started out in finance, working for banks, insurance companies, family office up in Indianapolis. Moved around
with my job, my husband's job. I've had 3 kids in 3 different states. And so I got into tech. I was finance administrator for the state of Indiana web portal, which provided, so Jaci, I'm very interested in all the payment processing and e-commerce that you do. It's one of my favorite investment spaces. So provided fiscal oversight to all the electronic money coming into the state of Indiana. And so that's how I cut my teeth in tech. All of a sudden, I had to make friends with engineers and developers. So the fact that you got them on TikTok is
Working on it.
absolute unbelievable feat. And so from there, I came to work in Kansas City for a parent company, and I see big GovTech company. GovTech is interesting because what everyone has in common is we're all citizens and we all have to interact with the government at some point. So providing technology to citizens can be really impactful, and they're really, really big projects. Not super sexy, not stuff you read about in the news all the time, but really big projects. I then worked for Kansas City entrepreneur John Thompson and Mike Plunkett, founders of Payit, which is an e-commerce. We had a partial exit in 2019. And from there, I was looking for my next adventure. I called Darcy Howe, the founding partner of KCRise Fund, and joined her. So she was absolutely somebody I've looked up to for, ever since 2017. So it's really been a great last 9 months here at KCRise.
Or Erin, which I always talk too much when we have the business conversation. So I look at her eyes if she's mad at me or not. So Darcy, I freaked out when I met her. I mean, she's just a huge pillar of Kansas City, and she moves needles, but she's only in Kansas City part-time. She'll take some summers in Michigan, and the impact she has when she's in town is monumental.
Right.
So what are you most excited about in terms of investing for next year? Or
Sure.
you just have to see, I mean, is it, because you see hundreds of deals, it's hard to figure out who you want to invest in.
Yeah.
So, what are you most excited about?
Yeah. So great question. And to circle back to your previous question, we see hundreds of deals. We see thousands of deals. And we do have investment criteria. A firm has to be past their pilot phase or ideation phase. They have to have a couple of customers, some revenue, have to be Kansas City based. We do have a thesis that we abide by, but we love talking to entrepreneurs and founders. And a big priority for us is to improve and expand the depth and breadth of the entrepreneur and technology ecosystem here in Kansas City, because the more investment money, the more founders, the more companies, the more exits, rinse and repeat. And those are what's really prolific in the big markets. You think of Silicon Valley and you think of Boston and New York, up and comers like Austin and Miami. So the Midwest is, we're on our way as well. And so, to your point, of talking to so many people, we try and be as helpful as we can, whether or not it's the perfect time for an investment for us, but we like to keep in touch with everyone in entrepreneurship ecosystem here. We consider ourselves capital connectors. So, founders might not have a rich uncle or, access to funds. So that's where we help try and bridge the gap.
Awesome. Caroline, it sounds like your mic went a little bit out, so I'm checking on it, but you might just play with it. But that's amazing. And I don't know what you guys, maybe it's just me being more aware, but I feel like I've been hearing KCRise way more in the past couple of years than I ever have before. So you guys are doing amazing work.
Is the feedback a little better?
It's a little bit better now, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Ed owes me a KCRise shirt.
Oh.
So I referred someone to Carol Loop, and I hope you're giving Ed parenting advice since you have 3 kiddos and he's learning.
Actually, I think your T-shirt might be at my house, so I'll get that over to you.
I thought that was a joke that he made. Either way.
No, I think I have a T-shirt for you. I think I have a T-shirt for you, honestly. But what we're most excited about is that we need to make 8 to 10 more investments in 2022. So we're just excited about the next great founder or set of founders.
Awesome. And now your microphone's perfect. So thank you. Thank you
Okay.
for fixing it. Tara, who are you? What do you do? And how do you get to Kansas City?
Hi, thank you for having me today. I'm Tara Renzi. I am an author, a keynote speaker, and really just a positive lifestyle influencer. So I came to Kansas City, half a lifetime ago, was a KU grad, Rock Chalk Jayhawk, and actually I'm a born and bred Kansas girl. I've lived in Kansas my entire life. I grew up in North Central Kansas in a really super small town of 350 people. And so just a small town girl now living in the big city. I graduated from college, came to Kansas City, and was one of those oddballs that was like, you know what, I really want to be in sales. So I went to work for a few different companies, and then I ended up landing at careerbuilder.com. And this was back in, the early 2000s when job boards were really the big thing in the employment space. And so I became one of their top sales reps, and then went on to run and manage 2 of their national offices in different cities. And then I went into sales leadership and sales training for them and ran their corporate training. And then I had 2 kids and really kind of had this midlife, not even midlife, like 30-something new mom career crisis of like, who am I? What am I doing? And how do I keep the career path and manage these 2 kids? So I did an unexpected thing, never in a million years did I say, I'm going to bust my butt in the corporate world to leave it all behind and start a home-based social selling business, kind of in that direct sales space that you talked about. But I did that, and I helped a company that was up and coming then that no one really knew about called Stella and Dot. And I helped them grow the entire Midwest as well as the national sales force. So I did that until, I was 40. And then I really had this calling to share this message specifically to working women to be who you came to be and to give yourself the permission to reinvent yourself and to take risks, and that, who you are when you're 20 probably isn't going to be who you are when you're 30, 40, 50, so on and so forth. So I got out on the public speaking circuit and started doing more and more public speaking. And then obviously the pandemic hit, which completely changed what my business looked like. I went from traveling and being on stages several times a month to really working virtually from home. And it was during that time that I authored my first book. And now things are kind of picking up again. I think we're going to be seeing more events in 2022 as, people are more willing to get out. And I think more than anything, we realize that we're better together. And women, specifically working women, we see amazing things happen within that portion of the workforce when we come together, we work on ourselves, we connect. And we just, give ourselves that permission slip, that light to be who we came to be, both in the career world as well as personally and who we are in the community.
Okay, I have a question because this is my space. I love the space stuff. Okay, so what is your goal? I did a lot of speaking pre-COVID too. And then when it all stopped, you kind of start evaluating, right? So what is your goal? Which stage out there are you going to finally be like, okay, I really made it. I hit my goal. Which stage are you trying to get on? Because you never know who's watching and who might. It's always the people you don't know that are booking the speakers that are booking the speakers. So what
I love speaking in the direct sales arena for sure, just because of making that transition to a non-traditional role that for so many people, they don't truly understand that space, and they have all these negative misconceptions about what it is. And the truth is, for a lot of working women, it's given them the opportunity to flex their entrepreneur and leadership muscles, have a business and their sanity while also still being present at home and making an impact in the workforce. So any of the huge companies that sell out arenas, that would definitely be a huge goal of mine, to speak on one of their stages, whether that be, a Rodan and Fields or a Beachbody. But honestly, I have major aspirations of starting to put together some of my own women's events and creating space for women to get together in small venues, medium venues, eventually large venues, because we don't see a lot of women's events out there right now specifically. Just the other day I was talking with my agent and she's like, if you started doing gender neutral stuff, we'd get you on a lot more stages. And I said, well, that's not who I came to be. And my message is truly designed for the working woman. So those are just a few aspirations that I have.
Scott, don't you think it's interesting? Well, really everybody, but for those of you that are watching, I don't know why you're not commenting. Tell us you're here because I can see you're watching. So tell us you're here. But don't you find it interesting? This show is completely organic. We never know who's going to be. When people book themselves on this show, they just get a link and they choose the date that works for them. They never know who's going to be on the show. And I find it very interesting that both you and Jaci are on this show today because you're so much in those same arenas that I'm surprised you haven't met before. But it's always so funny how that works out. It's kind of like that universe thing people talk about that I always say isn't true. It's kind of like that, right?
She just mentioned one of our clients, so I private chat. Let's talk.
Yeah, I know Richard's on board next, but Aaron, yourself, my wife, my business. I work with all women, and it's just I feel like the holidays just present a lot of stress with family and putting everything together and things at the end of the year, and it's just so impressive. Everything that's going on, Tara. I think that's awesome that you want to, I think I'm trying to think. I remember asking you about something and it wasn't on brand for what you're trying to do, and you didn't want to do it. I think that's awesome. And then also we're glancing over careerbuilder.com and the amount of success that you had building that organization. So something to do it. And then do you have your book that you can grab and show to the there we go.
This is like my third baby.
We always have to ask to get people to show their book.
Yeah.
I'm glad. Yeah.
So that was definitely, just going through that experience of COVID and question, who did I come to be, and can I weather the storm of the disruption that happened within my business? And it was really at that point in time that I was like, this is definitely a calling, and I'm not the only one alone. In fact, 2.3 million women, according to the McKinsey Women in the Workforce study, have left the workforce since February of 2020. And so now women have it's like a 57% show in the workforce, which hasn't been this low since the 80s. And so many working women have been so disrupted from what they do. And I always say, once a working woman, always a working woman. We love to contribute. We love to shine our light. And so the book is, I wrote this book specifically for working women so that you can give yourself that permission to be who you came to be and design the life that you deserve and love.
Okay, can you hold it up and tell us the title of it one more time?
Yeah, so it's called Be Who You Came to Be. You can get it on Amazon, but you can't get this really pretty gold hardcover book. But the whole inside of the book's also really highly designed with quotes and stories. So it definitely was my passion project. And I wanted it to be pretty because, you can set it on your coffee table and put a candle on it with some, flowers, and it looks gorgeous.
So where do you buy that really pretty one?
So you can get this on my website, tararenzi.com. And if you use code FRIEND, you can get free shipping. And actually through the next week, I did a little journal too, because, we like journals and places to take notes and put our dreams and aspirations. So this is just a blank journal, but you can get that for free. And they're meant to be a little set. So.
And then last question, I'll let Aaron transition. How do people, do they contact you through your website to have you speak? Or
yeah, you can fill out a form on my website. I do a lot of stuff on Instagram. You can message me via LinkedIn. I'm pretty easy to get a hold of.
What about TikTok?
My TikTok, I need to take some lessons, honestly. My TikTok, you would think that I'm having like a crisis. It's a little bit of cooking, a little bit of exercising, some motivational stuff, like maybe a random video of one of my kids. Like, you'd be like, this is all over the place. But I'm just waiting. I'm like, maybe one of these will go viral, and then I'll be like, this is my calling. I need to be TikToking every meal.
There's actually a Jake Shirk is his name. He's just a freelance videographer in Kansas City. And he did a TikTok where he watched someone realize that you could open the top of the oven. He's like, that's not true. And he did it. And then it was months later and he woke up and it hit over 2 million views that night. Wild. So who knows? It could always happen. Now
you never know. You can
open up the top of an oven?
Well, not my oven.
I thought that was the washing machine that you can.
It's got to think it's one of those old ovens.
The older ovens, you could open up the top to clean them out. I didn't know that till TikTok. See what you guys are missing?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
We learned a lot on TikTok.
Who are you? What are you doing? How do you get to Kansas City? And I'm going to throw this in there. Do you happen to be an author too? Don't forget.
Scott, I don't know about you, but I feel really fortunate to be with these awesome ladies here on this show. Wow, I feel like one of the country bumpkins here with all these high-powered ladies. So,
I agree, and you're such a gentleman. We didn't know when everyone signs up that the order. So thank you for being so patient.
Oh, that's my pleasure. No, I appreciate the opportunity to be here. My name is Richard Dixon, and I have a new media technology startup company called Dixon Media Technologies, and I have a new initiative that I have launched called Drama Free Parenting Academy, and we help traumatized families create peaceful homes through online courses and through parent coaching. And so I'm really excited about this opportunity that I have that started some years ago. My wife and I, we started our lives together by adopting our first 3 children, and they're now grown. And 6 years ago, or I guess it's been 8 years ago now, time has flown by, but we are now taking care of our 4 grandchildren. We're raising our 4 grandchildren. And through this opportunity, we have learned a new way of parenting that we're so excited about, that we are looking to transform parenting here in Kansas City and across the country. And that's using a technique of parenting that does not involve punishment, consequences, yelling, screaming, timeouts. And so we're looking to shift this mindset about how to parent, especially children who have incurred trauma. And that's something I'm really passionate about, really excited about. So my journey of how I got here was through trauma. My mother was 17 years old when she had me, and she couldn't take care of me. And that's where moms who put their children up and who go into foster care or adoption find themselves in that situation. I was fortunate enough that I didn't go into the foster care situation. My mom sent me to Kansas City to live with my aunt. And that was my first few years of life was here with my aunt, not with my mother. And so my passion goes back to my beginning and the trauma that I experienced living without my mother. And so this opportunity of helping parents and helping children be able to connect, be able to have well-rounded lives without the permanent impact of trauma is something that I'm very passionate about because it's personal to me. And so I've been very fortunate enough this year to be with Erin and with her help and vision to take this dream of mine and to bring it to reality and to get this message out to parents and caregivers throughout Kansas City and around really the country. So I'm excited about that. And yes, I am an author. I published my first book back in 2011. And then with the inspiration of my grandchildren, I started writing a children's book series called Sophie the Unicorn. And Sophie became a bestseller with my publisher this past spring. And I have been approved to write 2 more Sophie books coming in 2022 that I'm really excited about. And this one here is the Sophie. This was a Christmas story here. And it's about friendship. And a lot of parents and children have really enjoyed this particular this story here. So I'm real excited about that. And that's my story.
And you can get that one on Amazon, and you still have time to get in time for Christmas. We have it at my house, and it's absolutely wonderful.
Yes,
all right, so that you didn't go nearly long enough, right? So why don't you talk a little bit about you've been working with an organization in Kansas City that you're very heavily involved with, and kind of what you've been doing over there.
So I have 3-year-old twin boys.
Whoa!
I have 3-year-old twin boys, and then I have an 8 and 6-year-old girls. My girls go to Academy Lafayette here in Kansas City, and my 3-year-old twin boys are at Operation Breakthrough. And those of you here in Kansas City are familiar, probably have heard about Operation Breakthrough. And I didn't initially understand why we ended up at Operation Breakthrough. My wife and I were trying to decide where to send our boys. They weren't potty trained yet, so they couldn't go into the school situation. And so door opened for us to enroll them in Operation Breakthrough. And we said, well, okay, that door's open. We'll just go ahead and give it a shot. And about 2 months into it, it became apparent to me why we were there, because I experienced firsthand a 5-year-old child who was crossing the street with their parents and who was almost hit and killed by a school bus. The mom and dad who were there with the child did not know how to handle the situation and were threatening the child once about being out in the street and when they got home. And then it became very clear to me that the child was traumatized, the mom was traumatized, and the dad was traumatized, but they did not know how to handle their traumatization. And it became clear at that moment in time that the reason why I'm here is to impact, to influence, to help parents who have experienced trauma, who are in challenging situations, who have children who have challenging behaviors, to help them with their parenting. And so with the help of Erin and her team, we have created a character named Ricky the Tool Guy who has real parenting tools for real behavior challenges. And Operation Breakthrough has opened their arms up to Ricky the Tool Guy, who is now helping with parenting presentations there, who is presenting this online parenting courses to them. The executives there want to meet with me to review this parenting course to help their parents with the parenting challenges and behaviors that they're having. And so I'm really excited about this because the real key to this transformation, most parents send their children or will apply for help from therapists because they want their children's behaviors to change. Well, I believe in the Drama-Free Parenting Academy approach is that the real key to success is helping the parents' behavior transform first. And that's our approach to helping this, to make the change, the transition, and make this change happen.
Do you work with 1-800 Foster Adopt Connect or KVC?
I do not. I am reaching out, and I have several other organizations I am working with, not yet with KVC yet.
He would like to is the answer.
Yes. Got it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Let me
I
answer
just
that
didn't know
for him.
when you adopted your children, I didn't know who you worked with.
I received certification from Cornerstones of Care for foster when we did our foster caring there. I've had some connections with them. I speak at several conferences throughout the area on foster, adopted, and kinship care. I'm speaking this coming February at a conference in Lenexa, and I'll be speaking on finding your superpowers as parents. And that's my big topic for this coming year, is talking about superpowers that parents can identify with and unleash in their parenting efforts.
Well, I'm not trying to go from one topic to another to bring light on all the amazing work that you're doing, but randomly, I was taking a group of well-known people for a charity auction to a Chiefs game, and someone found out I was the designated driver and had room in my car, and they're like, hey, take this gentleman. His name's Trevor. He performed in Kansas City. He's the lead singer for O-Town. So O-Town, if anyone doesn't know, was a small, they had 2 top 10 hits, but in the early 2000s with the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC, they were a thing. So everyone's like, O-Town, like, who are you? Oh, and they would be like, I don't know O-Town. And he goes, well, I was in town performing for the Operation Breakthrough Gala. Everyone knew Operation Breakthrough. And I was really proud of Kansas City when I'm at a Chiefs game and everyone knew Operation Breakthrough. So just so amazing what they do for our entire city. It's so impressive.
Yes.
And also,
absolutely.
that's the 3rd time I've heard Scott tell that story. So he's pretty impressed about Trevor. I'll tell you that. But Richard, this is fun.
Man.
Again, Jackie is a twin mom.
I am. So you get excited. I'm like, oh, we can be friends.
Christine says, bless you, Richard. Successfully parenting children who've experienced trauma is so difficult, and resources are desperately needed.
Thank
and
you,
then Rob
Christy.
says to everybody, thanks for everyone for sharing your insights and stories. Okay, well, Rob, don't go anywhere. We're only halfway through. Jackie, what has been your biggest win of this past year, couple years. I feel like COVID's like one big long year.
I
This
agree.
past couple of years, what's been your
The
biggest
year
one?
that won't end. I have a couple of them, but I'll keep them short. I got all 4 kids in the same school, so it's the same drop off and pickup. Can we get an
Oh,
amen?
yes.
Thank you. Huge win. Huge.
Coming from a mom that has 3 different schools.
Yeah, they're at 3
School,
different
junior high,
schools.
high school. I'm so jealous.
We got them all in the same one. So go that Catholic education. But finding the team at Retail Success, when Kent Galley calls you and says, hey, you do some marketing, right? And you've been home with your kids for a while, you answer and have coffee with them. And I ended up finding this really great home. And Retail Success is one of the coolest companies in Kansas City that I don't think anyone has ever heard of. And so we want to change that this year and next year. And so that's really what my biggest win has been, finding this team, and then looking to next year is just making sure that we are getting our message out there and what we do. And we're also going to be launching an app that I mentioned earlier that we're really excited about. So it's almost finished. So that's our biggest win at the company.
I want to give Jackie a little bit of a shout out because I was with Retail Success pre-Jackie. And if anybody's ever been in any position, they're bringing in a new exec, right? It's scary as the vendor, right? And I'm not sure we've ever on our team, we've had lots of good people that came in, but never anybody more welcoming to all of their vendors that she just made friends with, immediately said, how do we work together? How do we do partnerships? And it was very, very impressive of how she navigated both inside and outside relationships for Retail Success. So
very, very sweet. Thank you for that. You made it easy. The whole team is great.
So, all right, Caroline, what's been your biggest win this past year?
So I would say, so professionally, the biggest win has been being at the firm, very new to the firm. I'm 9 months old as a venture capitalist. So I was at the firm, precisely 3 weeks when we started diligence on a company called Ehawk Solutions. So I would say our biggest win is what I consider, or in the industry is considered, syndicate building. So when a company goes out to raise a round of funding, depending on their valuation, it could be $1 million, it could be $2 million, it could be 35 million, it could be 100 million, depending on what phase of business they're in. We saw a couple of really promising companies and we helped them build the syndicate. So a lot of times they come to us, they already have a lead investor. These entrepreneurs we found just through our local investor network, and really saw fantastic things in them and actually help build the syndicate. That means we help bring funds in from outside of Kansas City to help build these regional companies. The first is Ehawk Solutions. They've built a platform to address the problems in the criminal justice system, a mobile app that can be used in lieu of an ankle monitor. Much more user-friendly and humane for defendants who 73% of the time are innocent or charges are dropped, and a way for defendants to stay in contact with court systems so that they don't miss their court dates and can move more efficiently through the criminal justice system.
Yeah, and then
73%, that's huge.
And then back up a little bit. So think of like when you have to go to a probate, and so I'm a suburban kid. I grew up great, super nice parents, but I was arrested probably close to 10 times for a violation of diversion and probation. And I was lucky that my family could take me to the meetings that you have to go to or to your appointments. And so transportation is just a huge issue that Ehawk is solving.
Yes.
And all of these, I don't want to say horrific, but like just, hey, the meeting was at 11, it's 11:01. You're going to go to jail for 3 months. I mean, that's a real thing. And then it's like, hey, you couldn't make it. I know you called me, but you were not present. You're going to jail. You violated your diversion or probation.
That's right.
And so, it took 3-4 years to get off the ground. And with KCRise's help, it's really escalated. And I think Rick Culley may have brought that in, which was one of your investors. But that's you think of Pay It in Kansas City, they have a lot with. I think Ehawk could be a game changer for the country.
Oh yeah, certainly. And it's about, like all great technology, the technology that is most prolific in the area is B2B or B2G, meaning technology for other companies or for government. But the best technology is actually built for the user, right? So it's not built for the supervising agent or the officer or the court administrator or the judge. It's built for the defendant. And so it's built, where is everyone, whether you're, man, woman, old, young, a juvenile, you're on your smartphone. So providing those technologies that are personalized for social media and communications and, our banking app and everything else, using those same technologies to make it easier for people to go through the criminal justice system. So it's really game changing. They launched their pilot over in St. Louis, where obviously Ferguson was, and again, through the pandemic when these court systems had to shut down, it's really exciting to see them grow. And Kansas City is really on the map nationally for GovTech. NIC, who I worked for, was just acquired by Tyler Technologies out of Texas. I think they're a $2 billion company post-acquisition. So a lot of GovTech, and Garmin sells a ton of technology to the Department of Defense. It's a really big sector here. And the other syndicate that we helped build that we're really excited about came out of Techstars out of Wichita, Quick Hire. So these two ladies came out of Koch Industries, developed a mobile app for hiring service workers. So food service, hospitality, it's kind of like a dating app. They even have the swipe and the upskilling feature of having your profile, finding promotions, finding training opportunities to not just find a job, but then to promote your career as a service worker, maybe up through management or within another organization. And those gals are a first in Kansas, so the first Black women to have raised $1 million in seed capital in the state. So we love first and anything new and exciting. So syndicate building is definitely a win. It's new to us, and we look forward to doing more of it moving forward at the firm.
I love it. All right, look, Chris Culbertson wants to know more about your diversion, but I'm going to let you tell him offline.
But it was underage drinking and violating curfew, so it wasn't like. But my point is, I messed up a lot.
No,
it can happen to anyone.
Well, yeah, it's true. To your point, there's certain populations that have resources, parents, caregivers that can help them through the system, but that's not true. That's not true of everyone. So you're exactly right.
In high school, I only went one time, but for some reason, I somehow got put on the diversion review board for something. I think someone told me it would be good for college. And I went one time and I was like, I'm not a snitch. I'm not doing this anymore. And I didn't ever go back. That was but I did get a ticket in Lawrence underage. I will go that. Okay. Tara, what has been your biggest win the past couple? Let's just go a couple of years, whatever you want to say.
Well, I haven't been arrested, so that's good. I actually have never been arrested. I've never been arrested, so that's definitely a win.
It is a win.
And my children have not been arrested either. So
bigger win.
That's a win too. Honestly, just coming out of everything that we've all been through, I'm super just grateful for health and mental health and our family, and that. My husband and I had our 20-year wedding anniversary this year. So that was definitely an amazing accomplishment. And that was even after him working from home for a year, which we've never done this co-sharing space. But definitely, I think, getting this book done, which was something that I had always wanted to write a book. I'd always thought about writing a book. And I think specifically going through the pandemic and really figuring out who I came to be and what I wanted to put out there. I made a post earlier today about someone making a comment when I was early on about wearing lipstick that matched my shirt. And I remember thinking like, oh gosh, maybe I need to fit in a container and I need to be a certain way and I need to act a certain way and talk a certain way. And I need a certain type of book to, legitimize my topics. And going through the pandemic and really giving myself the space to be perfectly flawed, unapologetically authentic to who I am and my message really allowed me and opened that door to write the book that I wanted to write, that I was proud of, that felt good. And there was no imposter syndrome because nobody else had a book like this. Like, it was truly my book. And so it was really empowering, and it's just taken my message and my brand and how I show up to a different level. And so I think that, you know, sometimes we have to get pretty rock bottom to realize what our true purpose and calling is and how we move through that space. So I know it won't be the last up and down of my career, but definitely the book was amazing. And you know, I always thought I'd write a book, and now I've written one book and I'm already working on my second book. So
that's how it goes. That's what I've heard. That's how it goes. Before
yeah,
you know
so
it, you're gonna be like, here's my series.
Yeah, so I say Be Who You Came to Be is like having coffee with me, and my next book, Perfectly Flawed, will be like if we had a couple glasses of wine. So
I love it. Well, I'm gonna order it when I get off of here. So, but I'm gonna order the fancy one.
Yes, use code FRIEND for free shipping.
Okay, absolutely. Richard, what has been your biggest win the past couple of years?
I want to say congrats to you on your book as well.
Hey, and to you too. I actually we'll have to talk because a children's book is of the Be Who You Came to Be and really honoring our children's authenticity and knowing that, hey, you know, and I would do that with my son all the time. I'm like, who he came to be is maybe not who I thought he would be or what he is. And so really honoring those authenticities and allowing children to understand their curiosities and their passions and their gifts and their opportunities for improvement and where they can lean into all that. So a children's book is another book in my book wheelhouse that needs to get finished.
Well, you know, what you're talking about there is all referencing this new idea or this new label out there about conscious parenting. And that is parents who are being more in control of their own emotions, but while allowing their children to be who they are as well, and not controlling their behavior, but be able to give them the tools to regulate their own behavior. So those are the kinds of things that you're referring to there, which I think is exciting. But my win that I'm a parent of 4 kids, right? I got 3-year-old twins and 8 and 6-year-old girls. So being here today on this show, this dynamic, awesome, life-changing show is my win.
Yay.
You know, and I'm serious. You know, it's a challenge every day managing 4 children, and our schedules. My wife and our schedules are pretty challenging. We both work, and we've been married 36 years, and we love life. We love the challenges that we have with our children, but it's exhausting. If I could get $1 for every time someone says that when they find out that I'm raising 4 children and they look at me and they think, oh, he's not young, he's older. And they say to me, you know, you're getting younger. I mean, your children keep you young. If I can get $1 for every time someone says that, I would be a multi-millionaire. You know, they keep us exhausted, and that's what that does. They don't keep me younger, it keep me exhausted. And that's a win that I can still be up and still moving forward. And secondly, I would say that the big win for me this year has been meeting Erin and working with her marketing team. That's a big win because there are big visions for 2022 that she's going to help me accomplish. And I am so thrilled about what is in store. So that's what I would say.
Well, you guys are really great for my ego today. I really appreciate that, Richard, and I appreciate you, Jaci. I am very lucky to have gotten to know you, Richard, and I will tell you, post-COVID, with teenagers in the house, I've needed to talk to you as much as we have, right? We did 18 months virtual school, moved in the middle of it, and right when everybody got too cool for mom. So I've had a pleasure of talking to you and regulating my own emotions. All right, this is Scott's favorite part of the show. You guys already know I hate it. Scott, ask your icebreaker question.
I'm not going to ask about what your favorite lunch was in high school, but I will say I love the work that everyone here on the panel is doing in the community, and also hopefully it sheds light a little bit on people with trauma or been arrested. That it's especially people being arrested, it teaches a lot of empathy. Trauma is something obviously you can't control, but I hope people just have a more and more empathy. I think it's a huge characteristic in business leadership.
Ask a question everyone can answer. Everyone's got 60 seconds because we're almost at time.
Favorite Christmas tradition, Jaci?
Favorite Christmas tradition, the Christmas Carol at the KC Rep Theater. We're taking the whole family, even the twin 6-year-olds. We get all dolled up, do the whole thing, see the lights. We're going next week, right before Christmas.
Jackie is one of those families that they all look at the camera when she takes pictures, and I don't know how she does it.
That's a lie. I run social media. You only see the good.
Yeah, it's a highlight reel of your life. That's what I do. Caroline, what is your favorite Christmas tradition? And then how old are your children?
Oh my gosh. So I have big kids. I have one in law school, one in undergrad, and one in high school. And so, looking back, my favorite Christmas tradition, this is so unexciting, but it's pancakes. It's pancakes. It wouldn't be the same. One time we tried to not do pancakes and it was just an uproar, but we use real buttermilk and we only do it on Christmas and everyone loves it. And no one remembers the presents they got when they were little. So.
And just for the record, you do not look old enough at all to have children that age. So
no one on this show looks their age. This is nuts.
I love it, people.
Yeah.
Thank you to my dermatologist.
Tara, what is your favorite Christmas tradition?
Gosh, well, we always do champagne on Christmas morning, which is a nice way to start it off. But my favorite family Christmas tradition is when we have our extended family, we do the 12 days of Christmas. And so you get paired up with a random family member, and maybe you're going to be 5 golden rings one year. Maybe you're going to be, a partridge in a pear tree, but it's really fun and people have a blast with it. And so we do the whole 12 days of Christmas and everybody has to sing their part. So the 5 golden rings, I mean, if I could get that every time, that's mine because I can show off a little bit with my voice. Otherwise, I'm like a partridge in the pear tree and nobody wants to be the 12th because you only get one spot.
Yes. That was the one I would get because I'm so bad. But I love the champagne. I might steal that from you this year.
Oh, yes. Yes. Just champagne.
I love your idea, Aaron, about the limousine ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Richard, I have a 2 and a 4-year-old, and I'm talking to 4 women that are incredibly tough and successful, but twin 3-year-olds. I mean, woo. Now tell us.
They rock and roll, man. They are a 100% boys.
Yeah.
Opposite, 100%. Yeah, my favorite Christmas tradition is the plaza lights and drinking Starbucks coffee. Our kids love that, and we try to do that every year, and it's just a fun time. I love thing about kids is that they love the lights. They're so fascinated by it. This year, however, and I don't know where I've been over the past decades, but Elf on a Shelf has taken over our house, and I just don't know where in the world that came from. I'm gonna hang that elf in a minute because it's taken over.
I've heard that the elf can get COVID and then is quarantined, in a box for 2 weeks.
I'm gonna tape it up in a box tonight.
Oh, the elf.
I thought we're on our last year of the elf, I'm pretty sure. And if I change the subject, it's because my 9-year-old walks in from school. But I've been doing it since my son was little. My grandma got it as a gift. And if you are a pregnant or new young mom, do not do it. Don't do it. Say no to the elf.
It sounds fun. No,
don't do it.
Yeah, and then there's the moms who like make giant messes. They're like, they'll throw baking powder all over the kitchen, and I'm like, wait, what? No.
And they're on TikTok showing that this year, just as the elf, not as them. And my daughter's on TikTok, and she's like, "Why doesn't our elf do anything?" And I'm like,
our elf is not tired.
He's tired.
Well, my 6-year-old is using her imagination that every night she sees the elf doing something. Now the elf hasn't done anything, but she has these very creative stories of what the elf is doing, and she's telling my 8-year-old. So I just let her go ahead with it. She's already bought into it.
Yeah,
that's drama-free parenting. I love it.
My youngest and wild card of the children smuggled the elf to school in about 2nd grade.
Our elf never came back one year, and I literally don't know where the elf is.
I'm very, very jealous of
all of you.
Maybe we'll find it when we move someday, but I don't know where the elf is. I can't locate it.
You can have mine. All right. Well, thank you to everybody that watched. Thank you so much to Bank of Blue Valley. This is our last, there we go. This is our last regular show of the year. But Scott and I will be back next week with one last show. It's a special show next week. Scott doesn't even know what we're doing. I'm going to tell him before next week. But it's a special show next week. You are not going to want to miss it. So same time, same place. Have a wonderful couple of weeks. And listen, we've talked about it so much. Don't make the holidays too stressful. Relax. Try to enjoy them. Try to do your traditions. And don't go overboard and not enjoy them yourself. So thank you so much. If our panel stay on for just a second, we have a Christmas surprise for you. And we will talk to you all next week. See ya.
Thank you, Erin. Thank you so
Thanks.
much.